If you're a water person, if you're a swimmer or a snorkeler or a free diver or a scuba diver, or you're comfortable in the water, then it's just one of these experiences that almost everybody should at least try at least once, if not more.
Hi, this is Gail with Experiences You Should Have, your how-to guide for amazing experiences. And today we are going to be talking with the owner of Kona Honu Divers, which is my favorite dive shop in all of Hawaii. They're located in Kona on the Big Island. Byron, he is a stellar guy. And they work with another company and offering these amazing snorkeling and freediving tours called the Open Ocean Safari. The Open Ocean Safari is a freediving and snorkeling adventure that you will never forget. This is not your average, let's go snorkel around the beach or go just chase after dolphins in the bay. No, this is blue water snorkeling. So blue water, you're in the part of the ocean where it's pelagic creatures, non-reef creatures. So at night, like blue water diving would actually be black water diving. But this blue water expedition, the Open Ocean Safari, is during the day, and it's not diving. You're snorkeling, you're free diving, and you are in search of big animals. You're looking for whales, dolphins, sharks, manta rays. And the thing is, you never know what you're going to see. And if you do see something, it's probably big. So I highly recommend checking out this blue water expedition or searching for Open Ocean Safari, or just give Byron a call at Kona Honu Divers. I promise this will be something that you will never forget, because you're going to have many days throughout your life where you're sitting at your desk or whatnot, and the day's just going to float on by. But this day, the day that you go on an adventure in search of big animals in the blue ocean, that day is going to stick with you. And you know what? That's what life's about, right? It's the memories, it's the stories, it's the experiences, which is what this podcast is about. So, if you would like to learn more, such as costs and skills, requirements, etc., please listen on as I talk with Byron on how to make this incredible experience happen. And also, if you're interested in checking out more information around the Manta Ray night dive or blackwater diving or just other diving in Kona, go to experiencesyoushouldhave.com. I've got lots of episodes about it. And also check out KonaHonuDivers.com. Again, my favorite dive shop in Hawaii, hands down. Enjoy. Well, thank you for joining today. I appreciate it. So we're actually going to be talking about the Open Ocean Safari taking place in Kona, Hawaii. And I love doing episodes in Kona because I feel like so much cool stuff happens in Kona, from the Manta Ray night dive and blackwater diving. And Byron here is the owner of Kona Honu Divers, my favorite dive shop in the world, and located in Kona. And they offer something called the Open Ocean Safari. Byron, can you tell our listeners a little bit more about what this Open Ocean Safari is?
Yeah, sure. The Open Ocean Safari is kind of a name that I came up with for this excursion. I don't know that there's like a well-established name for it, but basically it's, you jump on a boat and you go out in the middle of the ocean, and you look for big animals. So that's why I call it the open ocean safari for the app description. Of course, that's just a brief summary. There's a lot more to it.
Well, can you tell our listeners about the first time that you did this experience?
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm so psyched about it. I got really lucky the first time I went out. It was kind of like, it's kind of like going fishing. Like sometimes you catch something, sometimes you don't. And we just happened to hit it big the very first time I went out. So we jumped on the boat. It's a Navy SEAL boat. It's a big, long, like rib craft style boat, rigid hull inflatable with two giant 450 horsepower bi-turbo high performance diesel engines. So the thing goes really fast. It goes probably, I want to say like 70 or 80 miles an hour. But of course, most people, they don't want to go 70 or 80 miles per hour because, they want to stay in one piece. So normally they'll be driving maybe about 50 miles an hour max speed, depending on the water conditions.
Uh-huh.
And so the first time we went out, it was pretty wild. We just, as soon as we left the harbor, we ran into some spotted dolphins, which are pretty rare. You don't see them very often at all.
Like, were they Atlantic spotted dolphins? Or just spotted
dolphins? No, they're just there's about 200 something species of dolphins. So there's some kind of spotted dolphin that frequents the Hawaii area, but you don't see them. I've only seen them maybe 2 or 3 times, something like that. So that was really cool. Then we headed down up north to Manta Cleaning Station. We swam with some mantas, and then we headed out into the open ocean, and we found a sperm whale, which was super cool. And I was hoping to be able to get in the water with a sperm whale, but it eluded us. It didn't want to play, didn't want to hang out, which then I added the sperm whale to my bucket list because it's one of those animals that is really special. It's the largest predator in the world, and it's really hard to find. Very few people have actually been able to get in the water with a sperm whale, or let alone see one.
Wow.
Many people that have been on the water for many years have not seen them. So that was cool. And then we headed over to, we ran into a pod on the way back in. We ran into a pod of pilot whales. Got to swim with the pilot whales. They were super chillaxed. So we actually got to swim right up. I swam right up to one of the big poles. I got so close that I was actually kind of freaked out by how big and powerful this thing was.
Yeah. Oh, wait, how big is a pilot whale?
How big is a pilot whale? They can range, but the poles probably get about 15 feet long, I'd say.
Wow.
Maybe 20. I don't know. They get pretty good sized.
Yeah. No,
and they're very muscular looking.
So you got right in this pilot whale's face.
Right in I could see his eyeballs staring at me. It was kind of intense. Those guys are super muscular looking too. Like they could do a number 2 if they wanted to. But yeah, they're really cool looking. Just they're black and shiny and just so relaxed and peaceful and calm in the water. And then after that, we headed into Kealakekua Bay, hung out where the Captain Cook Monument is. It's a really nice bay, and they got a lot of snorkelers, and people like to go there and hang out. And so we just did some snorkeling there, and then we headed back into Kona. And on the way in, the cool thing on this particular boat, is it has this jet drive, so it's able to do things that other boats are not able to do. Like it can go from moving forward to in reverse, moving into reverse in an instant. So you're cruising along at 50 miles an hour, and they give you a handhold signal that you need to hold on. And as soon as they flip it into reverse and hit it full throttle, the boat goes from 50 miles an hour to a complete stop in less than 5 seconds.
Wow. Now that is cool. Some power.
Yeah, and also they can turn the jet drives in any direction, so they can do like 360s and turns like really quickly, which is really fun.
Wow, cool, so cool. And so, how many times have you gone to go out on this boat?
Probably, I want to say like 4 times.
And of those 4 times, have you seen big animals in the water?
I would say three of the four times I've seen animals in the water, and two of those times the animals were a bit shy,
Yeah.
and the fourth time I don't know that we saw any,
Okay.
but we did some nice snorkeling.
So it's not guaranteed. So it could either you could either see nothing, or it could be like the coolest day that you have ever had.
Yeah, it'll be like bucket list checking, like most awesome day you've ever had in your whole life kind of experience.
I would say that's a good reason to do the experience. And why else should others experience being in the open blue ocean with these creatures?
I don't know. It's something you can't do, in most places. It's cool. Like one of the cool things about it, like reason why I call it safari, it's like you're going in the water with these animals that are way bigger than you. They're way more powerful than you. And it's like, standing there next to a lion or an elephant or whatever African giant animal you can think of.
Right.
But normally when you go on safari, you don't get to stand next to the lion. You don't get to stand next to the elephant. In this case, you do. You get to get pretty close to them, sometimes uncomfortably so, if you're really brave. But that's one of the unique things about it, is that these are ocean animals, and for the most part, they're pretty cool with you being in the water. You do have to be cautious though, because it is like going on safari. You've got these big animals that could easily, if they wanted to, they could hurt you. So you have to be cautious and careful when you do get in the water. And the great thing about this boat in particular is that they are really in tune with the behaviors of the animals. So they know if the animals are okay with you approaching, they know that. If they're not okay with you approaching, then they also know that too. And they have a guide with you in the water. They only put 2 people in the water at a time, usually with the more sensitive animals, and that way it keeps their demeanor in a good way.
Now, that's really nice to know. And I know that there's like laws and rules out there on how close you can get to whales and that sort of thing. So how do you keep that in check when you're in the water with these big animals?
Well, those laws apply to humpback whales.
Okay.
So other whales, the laws don't apply, as far as I know. I don't own this operation, so I don't know exactly what the rules are. Mostly it's like you can't harass or touch marine animals. And, the way that these guys operate, they are very careful not to harass the animals. If the animals don't want you in the water with them, they're going to let you know. And, so they're going to be respectful of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Now,
that's really important.
Now, how does this trip differ from just going for like a Kona dolphin snorkeling day with like the other boat?
Yeah, so the Kona dolphin snorkeling is pretty big industry. A lot of people do it. It's for basically everybody. Just about anybody and everybody. This trip is more for people that are maybe in a little bit better shape. There's standing requirements. You got to be able to stand for at least 4 hours. There's no seats on the boat per se. When the boat's moving, you've got to be standing. There's a backrest and a bar in front of you that you can hold on to kind of keep yourself pushed up against the backrest. And by standing, you can actually cushion yourself from the movement of the boat a little bit better than if you were sitting, so they can move a little faster that way. And that's one of the nice things about the boat. Normally on a dolphin snorkel, you'll be going relatively slowly depending on the boat and the operator. This boat will be going typically at least twice as fast, if not 3 or 4 times as fast as most other operators. And so you can cover so much more distance. And the nice thing about that is the open ocean is like a giant, massive, flat, blue desert. And, in the desert, it's, you got to walk a while before you can find animals, plants, that sort of thing. And same in the ocean, there's just vast stretches of nothing. And so you really have to range and cover a lot of ocean to find anything. And that's where this operator really excels, in that they can easily cover these vast distances by just, through sheer speed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so how old do you have to be to go on this trip, and what other physical requirements are needed?
Um, well, I'm not sure what the age requirement is. I'd have to look it up. But typically, the only physical requirements are you don't want to have any back issues. You don't want to be pregnant. Um, Preferably no heart conditions, but I don't think they screen for that. And then also, um, you want to be physically fit to where you can stand for a long period of time and be comfortable swimming also. So you want to be a good, solid swimmer. That's pretty important because, if you are in the water with these animals, you want to be able to keep up with them or swim, back to the boat or whatever. So, yeah, having preferably some good set of fins with you, and a mask and snorkel mask that fits would be ideal. So you can actually see the animals once you're in the water. And I believe they do provide that sort of thing for you, but ideally you've got your own pair, so it fits you well and whatnot. Because you may get really lucky and, to see the pod of sperm whales. We've had sperm whales in the water lately in the last couple of weeks. There's a pod, I think, because they had a little baby hanging out just offshore here. And, you might get an encounter with some sperm whales, and if you're in the water for a while, you want to be comfortable and able to keep up with the pod. So it's good to have a good set of snorkel gear. Also, you're going to be outside in the sun. There's no shade on this boat, and so you really want to have a decent hat and a lot of sunscreen and some sort of cover on your skin. And when you do stop and get in the water and then get back out, you want to reapply the sunscreen and keep the sun, because you will get a lot of sun exposure on this particular boat.
Got it. Got it. And so you've mentioned some sperm whales and dolphins and that sort of thing, and mantas. What other animals might you see on this trip?
Oh man, so we have like 13 different kinds of cetaceans, which is dolphins, whales, and porpoises that frequent the Kona area, and then we have the random others. So last year during the flow competition we sponsored, we had orcas. We just had some fin whales yesterday that swam by, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're the second largest whale. They get up to 100 whatever feet. They're huge.
Yeah.
And so, we get these random others, but the 13 common ones are like, we get pygmy sperm whales are not common, but we get those. The pilot whales are very common. A number of different dolphins. The humpback whales are fairly common. Sperm whales are uncommon, but that we do get those. Cuvier's beaked whales, one of the deepest diving animals in the world. I'm trying to think of the others. There's a few other. There's another beaked whale. There's dwarf or pygmy killer whales as well.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different cetaceans. Bottlenose dolphins, spotted dolphins, rough-toothed dolphins. The mantas, obviously. You might even see some like monk seals near the shore. And then there's sharks. There's white-tip, oceanic white-tip sharks, which are one of the most aggressive sharks. Those are common. Those will hang out with the pilot whales oftentimes. We were just in with a school of pilot whales, and we had about 4. One or two of them were curious, and the rest just kind of checked us out and kept swimming. And by curious, I mean they swim right up to you, like right up to your face, and they'll even bump you.
Whoa. So have you ever had any weird encounters with the sharks out there?
I don't know about weird. I mean, mostly it's sharks coming in to check you out and getting really close to you, see if you're edible.
Right. But no shark accidents?
No, it's mostly that kind of thing. I mean, we do the blackwater dive also, and the sharks will come in really close then too. They'll get right up in your face sometimes. Usually it's near the end of the dive by the time they find you, and some of them are just curious, and some of them are a little more than curious. So it really depends on the species and the mood they're in, maybe when they had their last meal, and how you're reacting to them as well. has a bearing on how they're going to act towards you.
Right. Is there a best time to go out on this open ocean safari?
I don't know if there's a best time. There's definitely a worst time.
What's the worst time?
I'd say the worst time is anytime there's a storm coming, anytime that it's really busy, like tourist-wise. So like the Japanese come September, October, so the boat's going to be pretty busy then. So if you do want to get on it, you'd have to book it well ahead of time. Also, Christmas is probably the busiest time during the year, so the boat's going to be booked out then. You'd want to book it well ahead of time. The winter, we do get some swell conditions, some ocean swell conditions. So I would say the winter is probably not typically as good for the calmness of the water as the summer is. That being said, if you're wanting to see specific animals, like, for example, if you want to see whale sharks, the best time of the year to come is during the winter. But then again, you're not guaranteed to see them. But lately, we've been having all kinds of whale sharks. Almost every day, people are sighting them.
Wow.
And last month or so. And so that should continue until mid-January. It was really odd that we've had just an extraordinary number of whale shark sightings, like above and beyond what we normally have. For some reason, I don't know why that's happening. It's just kind of strange. And then we've also seen a few hammerheads, and then these sperm whales as well. So there might be something going on with the El Nino Southern Oscillation thing, or I don't know what it is. But so during the winter is good. If you want to see hammerheads, that's usually a February thing, January, February. And if you want to see things like, oceanic whitetips or pilot whales, those are here year-round. So it just kind of depends. Like if you're looking for specific kinds of animals, there are better times of year. But that being said, if you're not, then like summer is probably better because the conditions are nicer.
Perfect. And then what is the cost to do this trip?
It's $160, which in my mind is like a crazy good deal.
Yes.
Because you can take some of these other operators out. It kind of blows my mind that they can even do this for that price. But there's these other operators that are doing dolphin snorkel trips for like $149, I think. So for $11 more, you can just get so much more than your typical dolphin snorkel charter, chasing dolphins around, harassing dolphins, that sort of thing.
Right.
These guys are the real deal. Like they're really good with the animals and respectful. And like, I don't know, just the amount of value that you get from this trip is pretty insane. Cause like they'll take trips out to swim with sperm whales in Dominica. And those trips cost many, many thousands of dollars.
Right. Right. This is pretty absolutely incredible. And you're not guaranteed to see anything. So what do you recommend for someone who wants to maximize their time and have a possibility of seeing something?
Yeah, your best bet is to go more than once. It's like fishing. So, sometimes I've gone fishing a bunch and take a boat out, you spend $500-600 taking a boat out at least. And then we won't catch anything. So your best bet is to go multiple times if you can, or have the ability to go multiple times. So if you go once and you don't see anything, keep some days clear to rebook, or just book multiple days. Your best bet is maybe to give yourself like a day in between charters as well. That way you can have a rest day, because it can be a little bit taxing being out on the water depending on how physically conditioned you are. But yeah, I would recommend, and even if you do see something the first day, it's almost still worthwhile going multiple days, because it's just such an awesome value and such an amazing experience. Like probably go out at least 2 or 3, 4 or 5 times while you're out here, if that's your thing. If you're a water person, if you're a swimmer or a snorkeler or a free diver or a scuba diver, or if you're comfortable in the water, then it's just one of these experiences that almost everybody should at least try at least once, if not more.
Yeah, cool. So cool. I mean, this sounds like an experience to remember, and I've never seen a sperm whale or anything like that. I mean, I've seen lots of ocean animals, but this is now added to my bucket list. So sounds like will be coming in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it's like free divers, specifically free divers. It's pretty much their jam. Like they're the ones that are going to want to do it. A lot of people will come, they'll take free diving courses and they'll go on this boat because it's so like perfect for somebody that can dive underwater and hold their breath, and you really get the best experience with these animals. So I'd recommend to anybody that is interested in doing this, maybe even coupling it with the free diving course, because then you'll even get more out of the actual experience, being able to keep up with the animals and really get the maximum amount of time underwater with them.
Perfect. And I will make sure to include a link to the Kona Honu Divers free diving course in the show notes on experiencesyoushouldhave.com. And finally, how can you book this trip? Where do you go?
So you can go to konafreedivers.com and just click on Go Freediving, and we have all our trips listed there. It's called the Open Ocean Safari, and there's a video there, nice video of what it's like on this boat. It's really cool because when they launch it, they even use like a military vehicle to launch the vessel, and it's got armor on it, and it's just such a crazy looking boat. And it's supposed to have like a 50 caliber machine gun mounted on the bow, and it doesn't. But it's just such like a unique boat, and the whole experience. I mean, really, it's like I don't know that there's much like it anywhere else in the world that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's so special.
Truly amazing. So definitely check out experiencesyoushouldhave.com for all the information. We'll have links to everything. And this is something that you should add to your bucket list for 2019 or 2020. Go take a free diving course and swim with amazing creatures off of the Kona coast. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
Great.
And then the nice thing about the Big Island is there's so much more to do in between going out on the water. There's like a lot of these places, they have really great in-water, but then out of the water, there's not much to do on these little islands in the middle of nowhere. We have like just epic hiking, and the volcano just stopped, so now we have just super clear skies. It's the nicest it's ever been in 30 years. So it's like just an amazing place and time to be here right now. You can go to the top, one of the tallest mountains in the world, top of Mauna Kea, and see the stars. You can hike into some of the beautiful lush green valleys that we have here. You can go see the lava or Volcanoes National Park. And then, there's just so much, there's so much to do here. I haven't seen everything. I've lived here for over 10 years. And,
wow.
I've probably seen maybe half the island or so.
And if you're into water, definitely check out the Manta Ray Night Dive or Night Snorkel. It's one of the best night dives and snorkel in the world. And Blackwater diving will also blow your mind. And those are episodes here on experiencesyoushouldhave.com. And you can use Kona Honu Divers to book all of these amazing adventures.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Manta is like definitely a bucket list kind of thing. Most people that come out here that are even remotely interested in getting in the water want to do the Manta, and that's something that's really, really special and unique to Big Island. And Blackwater too. It's more targeted towards a hardcore scuba diver set, but it's so unique.
It's amazing.
It's my favorite dive.
Yes,
yeah, I love it.
I agreed. My office is decorated of photos of from Blackwater. It is my favorite dive in the world. So definitely check these episodes out. They will blow your mind. Kona is such a special place to me. And you can go do Blackwater dives, and you can go do snorkeling in the blue water with amazing sperm whales and mantas and dolphins, and who knows what you will find. But
yeah, seriously.
But it's an open adventure waiting for you. Well, thank you so much, Byron. I just really appreciate you coming on the show and giving new ideas to our listeners to experience in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. They should definitely make their way out to Kona because, I don't know, I think the word's definitely getting out, but I don't know, one day it may not be so wild and so rural. And I don't know, we might be getting a lot more tourism in the future. I mean, it's been growing, but like right now, I feel like it's still one of the best kept secrets of Hawaii, and I don't know, may not last. Who knows?
Right. Well, it's my favorite place in Hawaii. So sorry we're not helping with the secret here, but
Yeah.
but I love it. Thank you so much for listening to Experiences You Should Have. Check us out on Instagram at Experiences Podcast. Also, leave us a review and tell a friend about the podcast. And if you know of an experience that you've experienced that can be replicated that you think others should have, please let me know. Check out the show notes on experiencesyoushouldhave.com and send me a message. You can click on contact. Will come right to me. I read every single one and respond to everybody. So definitely hit me up. Come be on the show. And thank you truly for listening to Experiences You Should Have.